Hi guys, I'm gonna show you a project that we are working on, a brake maintenance replacement on a Landini 5500. I haven't found a video yet on the web, so I'd like to share that. So, yep. Okay, so the first step that we've done was to remove the cab, protector cab. Hopefully we had a kind of a winch or a system to, from the roof to lift that cabin or cab. It was quite heavy. So there's a couple of bolts on the fenders, and once this has been done, you have to remove two screws. These screw 1, 2, 3, and 4, which is behind that. There's no bolt, just the screw right in the fenders. You have to remove. Hello, this is my partner, Lawrence. So we have to remove the wheel. So it's the back wheel, of course, where the brake are. So there's those both. Once the so we actually jack everything and put some spacer to make it safe and high enough to work freely. Once the wheel is removed and fender is removed, I'll show you on the other side, but it was important for us, just as safety, to mark the alignment, because you can put it different position and it will change because of the design of that model. If you switch this way or that way, it will change the height of the wheel or the height of the tractor. So we actually mark that to make sure we reinstall them at the right place. So that's how it looked. The fenders, the fender removed. Again, we marked the bolt. I think it's called in French is cuisse, but I guess it's the wheel arm. There's some oil in the planetary, and you can either fill with this bolt, and once it's overflow from this bolt, it means that you have enough oil in the planetary. One technician told me that there's 2 seals inside, so we will see. So one seal is keeping the oil from the transmission, and the other seal is somewhere around here, and it keeps the oil from the planetary because there's oil in it. So there's oil here and oil there, and it's dry in between. And when a seal is broken, there's oil going in the dry brake system. The mud and sand, stick inside of the brake, and they tend to stick and not brake correctly. So there's a couple of wire to disconnect when you do that. This is the lighting system on the fenders, and there's right here There's not that much of light right now, but there's a boot, rubber boot, which protect normally a mud to go inside. So because it's now dead, the boot they don't protect anymore. Here there's no bolt missing. It's just an extra hole that show that you can use if you turn this whole thing. As I mentioned, you can install different way to change the height of the tractor. So anyway, it's a good project. My dad and myself, the technician or mechanician was planning 20 to 25 hours. So we're maybe 3 hours down the road right now. It's going pretty well. So we'll see. We'll show you more later. Thank you. Okay, so we have to remove the footstep. So it's kind of tough to access, but anyway, there's one bolt and two bolts and another one right here. I did mark the distance of this, I think it's called knuckle bucket, or I don't recall, but anyway, I have to remove the two springs in order to, and this is the boot again that is not good anymore. So, and I think this is the switch when you push on the brake. Normally it will light the light, the red light, but the pin seems to be broken. We don't need that anymore anyway. So, okay, we'll continue. Okay, so this is the actuator. We see normally I would think it's the disc behind this one with the spline. So there's a lot of grease right here, you see, a lot of that, so that's not good. These are supposed to be dry brake system, so not good to have oil in it. So we will clean everything and we'll show you that later. And this is the other portion. So this is potentially one of the discs, but anyway, we'll see. Okay, so we're on the right side, so it's about the same thing. So it's greasy and it's normally left side, yes. It's normally it should be dry, and as you can see there's a lot of grease and oil, and as it was on the other side, the disc on this side was totally wet, and the disc inside, this one here, looks totally dry. So again, the leak seems to come from the wheel planetary. So we'll continue, and again the boot is right here, totally worn out. That's it. See you later. Okay, so I think we found the problem. So there was dust and oil and grease. On this side it was pretty dry. So there's a gas ring, O-ring inside. It's black, you can see it, I think. So, but there was some brake dust, but it was pretty dry. So there was no leak, no oil leak coming from the transmission. So this means that it's not on this side, it's on the side of the wheel. So here, as you can see, it's totally greasy, and inside there's about 1 inch of oil in the bottom of this portion. So it looked like the seal right here is no longer good. The seal that sealed the shaft, you see, you know, the mark right here, it's the other seal inside the transmission, which is working good, but on this side it seems to leak. So we will have to disassemble this to replace. Okay guys, so it was now time to reassemble everything. So there was 2 techniques. So either put the gear on the fender, or I don't know how to call it in English, but the arm of the wheel, or the opposite, to put the arm on the gear. So we didn't receive the gasket, the sealer around here. So we actually build the gasket with gasket maker. This silicone. Anyway, it's supposed to be a gasket maker. And what we've done, we use this. It's kind of a lift, or we use that to do wine, to lift the big bottle. We actually put the gear on the floor. We've done the seal, and once the seal was installed, we slowly lean down, or lean down, the top portion. The top portion is this way up, going up, and the gear is down, and there's 2 pins, for alignment. So anyway, there's 2 pins. You will see when you will disassemble. And in order to align the pin, we, instead of knocking with a hammer or something like that, we decide to just screw in the bolt, and it went very smoothly because the pin are press fit. This is an alignment pin. They are actually one here and one on the other side, same place. So there's 2 pins for alignment, and you can see here the seal is actually bleeding, or anyway, he actually cleaned the exceedance. Anyway, to me there's not that much, but it was my father and I. So anyway, I think we've done it right. You have to be careful when the shaft tend to slick out of his chamber, so it's very important you remember the shaft is actually sitting inside of the fender. But anyway, we managed to use a rope downward at the bottom of that, and it was holding the big bearing and the gear, and because otherwise the shaft will fall down. And as you can see, we have used a mattress to protect the shaft if it fall on the floor, concrete floor. So the next step will be to reinstall inside of the brake housing. So we actually there's one disc. We have to remember there's one disc behind, and there will be one disc put on the shaft before we reinstall the fender. And once this is done, we will reinstall the footstep, the fenders, and the wheel, and it will be done. So it seems to work fine now. It's not adjusted, but it seems to be okay. Everything will be fine. So yeah. So there was an alignment also inside to make it work. It's hard to explain, but anyway, you'll see when you'll do it. And yeah, so it's a big job, but it's feasible. Thank you. So once the cover of the planetary is removed, we have to remove the not the seal, but it's a kind of paper gasket. But we have to be careful because there's scratch a little bit, so that's not good. So this shaft was inside here, and I'll show you something. Il est où le seal qui était bon? Okay. Okay, so there's a seal right here that was installed inside here. So we remove it without damage just by pushing with a metal bar from the other side, because there's some metal, and we just push it out. So once you remove the shaft going out, you can remove this seal afterward. So the next step will be to clean everything inside, because there's oil. Not here, because this is always in oil, but there should be no oil inside there. And that was the problem. The seal here was leaking, and the oil was going on the shaft and till the spline right here, and eventually to the brake system. Okay. Another job that you have to do is to remove the brake plate, maybe it's called, I don't know. This is it. So this is where the actuator, there's one brake disc right here, and the actuator in between, and another disc here. So you have to remove it. And again, there's some gasket that you have to remove, rebuild. And there's also, this is not the right one, but this one, which is destroyed now. It was sitting right here inside. So you have to remove that as well and replace that, because there was some oil coming from the transmission and oil coming from planetary. We will clean everything inside because there's oil everywhere. I also mark the alignment of the brake plate here, and we will also replace the boot right here, and this prevents the dust from coming inside the brake housing. You can adjust the pedal feeling or the length, and that's it. So now, once we will rebuild that, we will rebuild one gasket, one seal, and another gasket here around the planetary, and another seal here, not on the other side, and everything should be fine. Thank you. So the last step will be to clean the actuator and the disc. As you can see, there's one which is wet with oil and the other one dry. But since the job takes 20 hours at least, we decide to by prevention replace both seal, the one in the transmission and the one in planetary, and we'll clean and dry everything, because brake pad and oil doesn't work very well with this technology. So this is how it looks.